Hi, Tosin.
I'll say well.
So, what does impact mean to you, and what is your impact?
I think impact means leaving things better than you met them.
Okay.
At least that's what it means to me, right? It means leaving things better than you met them, either by completely, inventing or innovating something new, or by just improving what was currently existing. Yeah, I would say my impact so far in life, um, or my impact as a CEO and co-founder at 500 Chow, pretty much has been being able to provide affordable food to as many people as possible. And we've been doing that by, innovating and inventing new products, new ways to distribute food by using technology. So yeah, I'll say that's my impact.
Hi. Welcome to this episode, the very first episode of What's Your Impact? On this episode, we have the CEO and co-founder of 500 Child, Tosin Onafuye. Tosin, just do a brief intro.
Hi guys, my name is Tosin. I'm an entrepreneur. I like solving problems. When I'm not solving problems, I'm either playing table tennis or I'm watching football.
Yeah, watching football. What team do you support?
Okay, so I support Real Madrid and Manchester City, right? So when this comes out, to the football fans that hear this, yes, I support Manchester City and Real Madrid. Please don't judge me. Yeah.
Okay. So you said you're an entrepreneur, right? That's the first thing you identified yourself as. I'd like to know about how your entrepreneurial journey has been till date.
An entrepreneur is someone that likes to solve problems, right? Likes to create value for an ecosystem or a society, right? I likes to build stuff. So that's why I am. I like to build stuff. I like to solve problems. And I think for me, it started way back when I was a child, right?
Okay.
If I remember very clearly, I think in like 2008, my mom opened a grocery store. And after school every day from primary school, I would move from school straight to her shop and be the guy to attend to customers up until 6 o'clock when we close the store and then go home. And I did that for many, many years. So that really, exposed me at an early age to buying and selling of different commodities, figuring out what product resonates more with a certain kind of customer and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's really where I started to pick up the art of trade. And then later on, when I got to school, Covenant University, so even in my secondary school, right, I still was doing a lot of buying and selling.
So buying pin pop, selling pin pop.
How do you know?
Because that's the thing in secondary school.
I'll buy pin pop for 1,000 naira. 48 pieces were inside. I'll remove 8 for myself and my friends, and then I'll sell the rest of the 40 for 100 naira.
Yeah.
That was actually what was going on in secondary school. But in university, it became a lot more serious, right? It was really about building actual technology products that could influence the way people live their lives and really, really change certain things and make it better. So back then, we had like a group of us, myself, Christopher Obasi, Paula Kubo, Christopher Muzier, Ose Yoke, Ibukun Aino, Ebube. This is just maybe 40 or 50% of us. There were lots more of us, right? And we were just passionate guys that wanted to build stuff in Covenant University. I think the first idea we worked on different ideas, right? So we had built a ride hailing app using motorcycle bikes. We had built something for students to be able to access, loans so they can pay their school fees on time. Yeah, we had built so many things together. And yeah, that was really how my entrepreneurship journey started. Just right after being a child and going to my mom's shop often, getting into university and seeing that, we could build products that could help people's lives and how technology could actually influence how we currently live our lives and make it better. Yeah, that's really how it started for me.
Nice. So where's the gang now?
The gang. Oh, so so everybody's doing well. We thank God for that. And for me, myself and Christopher were building 500 Chow. Christopher Mosier and Paula Kubo, they are building Christopher Mosier, Paula Kubo and Ebube. They are building a startup called Graph.
Okay.
Oseyoke went on to build some technology for the government. So everyone is doing well.
That's nice to hear. How did 500 Child start?
Yeah, so funny story, right? Of everything we ever worked on and everything I also personally worked on, I think 500 Chow was the startup that we were most unprepared for,
Okay.
right? So that was the one that just took off in the way that we never really expected it to take off. Exactly. So previously we always would take our time, build a mobile app, build dashboards, build everything that would be necessary. But for 500 Chow, it was a passion project for us. We're like, you know what? We've previously built stuff in the transportation space for riders. We can leverage that to build some logistics solution. Um, and so let me just give you some background history, right? Like the setting and everything that was going on at the time. So it was during COVID.
Okay.
Everyone was at home. Restaurants were shutting down because nobody was walking in to buy food anymore. So we thought of it like, okay, we had built a transportation mobile app before for riders. We can convert that to be for like logistics and stuff like that. Um, and so the smartest or fastest way to launch at the time was just to launch on Twitter. Because to us, it was just passion project. Or restaurants are shutting down because people are not coming. If we create a Twitter page, push it out there. Everybody was on Twitter at the time. So if we push it out there, tell people they can order on Twitter and we get our riders to deliver. I mean, it made a lot of sense to us. So I begged my sister to tweet about us on her Twitter page. She had like 30K followers at the time. And we launched on Twitter. So we launched with 500 Chow, a Twitter page. We had a list of about 5 meals on our menu. And all those meals were at 500 naira. We partnered with local restaurants, specifically within very key locations, right? And the local restaurants were well targeted. They were like local champions. So at the time, it was White House of Yaba, Owambe restaurant in Lekki, Sensible Delicacies at Magodo. There was Busayo as well. And then we had Mumi's Cuisine at Ikeja. We had a couple of restaurants, right? And so we launched the platform on Twitter. A lot of customers started to order on Twitter because I guess at the time, a lot of people were spending their time on Twitter, right? So it made it easy to be able to get customers to, come in through the door and place orders. But it started to take off in a way that we did not expect it. We expected that, yeah, maybe a few people would take advantage of this and use it, but we didn't expect that a large amount of people were going to be using it. So one thing to say, right, one thing to note is that when we started, we had just finished from university. So at the back of our minds, we knew that we were all just building tools to improve our skills. But essentially, like at the end of the day, we're all going to find jobs and get more experience, understand how things were done. So even after Financial took off and it was doing well on Twitter, as soon as COVID ended, we decided to go and get jobs. Myself, I went to work at Vendy's. Christopher went to work at MoneyPoint. So while working at MoneyPoint and Vendy's, we're learning a lot, how to build startups, what really makes a startup work, how to build a team around you, stuff like that. And we always used to, we always see almost every day, right? And we always talked about 500 Chow, how it was so much of a success and it was so unexpected, right? So one day we started talking about the restaurant model and how it could be better improved. So we decided, yeah, if we actually use technology to improve a lot of things in this restaurant model and how restaurants operate, we can actually build our own large restaurant chain by leveraging technology. Like we figured out that we could leverage underutilized restaurant partners to build our own restaurant brand. At the time on Twitter, people thought that we were the ones cooking the food because it was a Twitter page. They didn't see it as a food delivery app. So we decided to take advantage of that. Like people already think 500 Chow is a restaurant brand. And we've come up with a very smart way to use technology to scale that brand easily, right? To distribute the brand across multiple locations. So why not do that? But we're still very much engrossed in our job. So we just, we knew it was a good idea, but we just put it aside, went on, continue working. And then later on, I think in December 2021, we got talking again. By this time, I personally had worked on a lot of things that would make the model work. I had spoken to a couple of restaurants, reached out to a couple of people in the food industry. I had put the whole operations model together. And so I started talking to Chris as well that, you know what, maybe we should actually build a mobile app. Maybe we should build technology and make this thing really work and scale this thing and make this thing big. So at that time, we then got Yemi on board. And the three of us decided to launch 500 Chow. 2022 January, we decided to relaunch 500 Chow as a virtual restaurant chain. And as soon as we did that, all our existing customers came back and it started growing again from where we stopped. So that's actually how 500 Chow started.
So was there a particular defining moment, or did you have like defining moments where you knew that okay, this is something I want to dedicate my time, my energy, my money to?
Yeah, so to be honest, right, throughout the time we've been building 500 Chow, we've had so many defining moments, like so many defining moments. But when we were building 500 Chow as a passion project, the defining moment for us was from the first day. After my sister tweeted, we thought, okay, because we're going to launch the, like a few days after she tweeted, maybe we wouldn't get so many orders, maybe people wouldn't even care. I mean, how many, it was a new brand, people had never tasted the food, but it took off on the first day. So that showed to us that there was a lot of demand for the products that we had created, right? And the second thing was it continued to grow. So if it had taken off, we'll have said, oh, maybe it was some marketing buzz, that was all. But it continued to grow gradually and gradually. It continued to grow. So it was just a no-brainer for us that there's so much traction in this thing that we're building. So we should actually build it. And I think another defining moment was still very on at the beginning, right? Seeing exactly how traditional restaurants operated, right? It was not really the most efficient way to operate a business. There was like room for leakages, room for waste. A lot of things were inefficient, essentially. And speaking to these people, we could see that they were not very willing to adopt technology at the time. So we actually had to take, the ball was in our court. We had to take everything to our own hands, right? And build technology that would enable a restaurant chain to actually scale. We couldn't do it with them because they didn't want to.
You're not so open to the idea.
We're also open to the idea of leveraging technology to like making technology the major part of their business. They were not very, very open to that because they were already doing things their own way and it was working. So I would say the first thing for me was seeing that, there was traction in the brand we had created. Second thing was also identifying that there was a gap in the market because a lot of restaurants were operating inefficiently. And with technology, we could be very efficient. With technology, we could scale our costs down, and scale our distribution very rapidly. So it made a lot of sense to us. But then when we relaunched in 2022, something funny happened.
Okay.
I was at the kitchen, everybody's trying to get things going, orders are coming in. And I saw my handyman in my apartment building, like my maintenance officer in my apartment building. He came in around 6 p.m. to pick up an order. And I'm like, bro, how come you are picking up this order? Are you delivering stuff now? Are you also doing delivery now? And he's like, yes, that he does deliveries in the evenings after he closes at work. So at that time, it made a lot of sense to me. And I'm like, oh, wow. This guy that is not a regular traditional delivery rider has seen that there's an opportunity here. With his bicycle, he can come to our kitchen, get assigned an order, and then deliver to a customer and actually make some spare change. And that's actually what he's doing. So it made me realize that we had built something that, has created its own ecosystem. And that ecosystem is actually creating revenue for a lot more other people. So it was very, very inspiring to see. And those are some of the things that when we, like, every time we think about the business we're building, we're very happy to see that we're not just creating value for ourselves, but we're creating value for other people. So I would say that the other defining moment very early on for us was seeing that we're creating value for other people as much as we're getting value for ourselves. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's nice to hear because you guys, I think those things that you just mentioned made you realize that you were building something that people actually wanted, right? It's like creating actual value, creating an impact. Now that we're on this topic of defining moments, how was it like getting into Y Combinator?
Well, getting into YC was very impactful. In retrospect, when I think about it, I would say that's one of the most impactful things that has happened to us as a company.
Okay.
We've learned a lot of things, right? We've really learned a lot. And like YC is, for those who don't know, right? YC is the world's biggest accelerator program. They've invested in other startups like Paystack, Airbnb, DoorDash, Stripe, Coinbase. Yeah, just to name a few. And I think what we really learned at YC was how to build a technology driven business, the things to focus on in terms of metrics, and just also, being around other people building really hard things just made you understand that yes, like everybody actually faces a lot of challenges, and the way you've been smart about overcoming those challenges is exactly how you need to keep going to be able to, succeed. For us, we actually got into YC on our second try. And we didn't even believe we were going to get in, because I think at the time there were a lot of other African food tech startups that had gotten into Y Combinator, but we got in, and it was a surprise to us. Anybody who knows YC understands how difficult it is to get in, right? We didn't really believe that we were going to get in. I put in the application 2 days towards the deadline day. Um, Even when we did our interview was very short, about 5 minutes long. And with YC, they will tell you, if you are going to get in, you get a call, right? On your phone, like a WhatsApp call. And if you're not going to get in, you get an email. We got an email. And on the email, they were asking us to join a Zoom call because they had more questions. Now we joined the Zoom call, and the only question they asked was, how would you like to be a member of YC? Now that it has always, that memory is always going to be in my head, and I'm always going to get emotional when I think about that, because it was one of the most defining moments for us. And yeah, it's just nice to remember that.
Nice. What are you most excited about in the future of the food tech landscape?
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited about adoption, the adoption rate of technology in Africa. Mobile phone penetration, for example, right? Just to use that, has been on the increase, right? But I'm not just excited about that. I'm excited about the fact that a lot more people know how to use their mobile phones. So before, people would, a lot of people had mobile phones, but now a lot of people know how to use their mobile phones. And how that resonates with us is in two ways, right? So firstly, it's our operations, and second thing is on the side of customers, the quality of product we're able to build. So with our operations, we've been able to streamline our operations using technology. Technology helps us to reduce cost of setting up a kitchen, cost of distribution. It helps to make a lot of things in our operations a lot more efficient. How we analyze data, the decisions we make with data, the products we're able to build internally and also for customers, to just make everything more efficient. Back in the days, you would order food and to get you in 60 minutes and you'll be fine with that. Right. But now, fast forward to 2025, 2024, people order food and it comes to them in 15 to 25 minutes. And that is the order of the day. Right. And all of that has been achieved because of technology. So that's one thing I'm excited about. Secondly, on the side of our customers, with technology, we've been able to build really, really innovative products that help to provide the level of convenience that we would like to provide to our customers. So now with our mobile app, from the convenience of your mobile phone, you can just tap and put your phone down, and within 15 to 25 minutes, food gets delivered to you. So that's something. And we're still building a lot more innovative products to help bring affordable food to as many people as possible. So I would say I'm really, really excited about the adoption rate of technology here in Africa. And I think that's something that's going to move the food tech industry forward. Yeah.
So how do you see 500 Chow being a key player in that, movement?
Yeah, so for us, right, 500 Chow is our first product. And 500 Chow is a virtual asset-light restaurant chain. And what we believe we're going to achieve with 500 Chow is we're going to be able to easily distribute really, really authentic, high quality African dishes. And so 500 Chow's goal is to put African food on the map. That's how we see it. We're going to leverage technology to build a restaurant chain that can put African food on the map. And then secondly, we're also, researching and still building a lot of other products to help improve operations and make the food industry a lot more efficient for our consumers, for our merchants, and then for other partners like riders and other partners in the food space. So we are looking at other ways that technology could help improve quality of life in the food space. Yeah, so that's really what we are excited about, and that's how we see the business going.
So as a CEO and co-founder of 500 Chow, what are some qualities you say you prioritize while bringing new people into the team?
So I look at two things, right? I look at the spirit of excellence, right? Does this person have an excellent mentality? Does this person always want things to be excellent? And then second thing is the diehard spirit, right? How resilient is this person? Those are the two things I personally look out for. And I think I'm really happy that I look out for those things, because when you're building something new, or when you're trying to improve something that used to exist in such a tough, challenging environment like Nigeria, you need people that are resilient, and you also need people that want excellence, because in Nigeria, it's very easy to get lost in mediocrity or get lost in mediocre things. But it's very, very important to understand that just because things are being done this way doesn't mean that's the best way to do stuff. So there's a lot of improvement that can be done here in Nigeria. And so I always look out for people that have that mentality, people that want to build excellent things and understand that they have to be resilient while doing that. Yeah.
Nice. I think that's interesting because, like you said, right, Nigeria is a place with a lot of circumstances surrounding you, right? So, especially when you're building something, when you're trying to solve a problem, and looking out for like resilience is something, right? And people that strive for excellence as well. So, what would you say is one lesson or some lessons that you've learned, during your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, so I'll be honest, right? I'm still very, very early in my entrepreneurial journey, right? So I'm still also learning, right? But one thing that has stuck with me is that if you have a die-hard spirit and you are actually creating value, things would work out for you. So if you're creating value, you're building something people want, and you're doing that well, and you're able to keep innovating and keep finding ways to get past the challenges and obstacles, you would really, really succeed. So I also think that that's a very, very important virtue that anybody that wants to build anything needs to have. You need to have that resilient nature in you. There was a time when we had a lot of orders, right? And there were no riders on ground. So we decided, okay, let's just drive and deliver this food by ourselves, right? So it was me and Adeyemi. And as we were driving, we headed towards Chevron. I think it was actually Oral Estate. Yeah. As we're heading there, his car broke down.
What?
Yeah. So the customer was already complaining because her order had been delayed. And now, in the midst of all of that, his car had broken down. What I thought about to myself was I could easily just call this customer and say, hey, sorry, man, we can't deliver this food to you, issue a refund and stuff like that. But the resilient nature in me is like, we are just about a kilometer away from this person's estate, right? How about I just take a bus or even just walk? So I told Adeyemi, I'm like, bro, just hold on. I'll come back. Let me deliver the order myself. So I came down from the car. I took a bus straight all the way to Oral Estate. I walked from the Oral Estate gate up all the way to the customer's house. Anybody that knows Oral Estate knows how far that walk could be, right? And upon delivering the food to the customer is so happy. Food came to her in 45 minutes. Left to me, I would like it to come in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But she's so happy. Oh, thank you for my food. And she goes inside. So where I'm going with this story is like, if you don't have a resilient nature, right, you will just think, this has happened. The car broke down. What can I do? Let's call the customer and cancel that order. But now that particular customer, her name is Tolu. She has been ordering food from 500 Chow since 2022 until now. And I really want to believe that the quality of service that she received that day was good enough for her to believe that she could keep ordering, because that was her first order. So if you don't have a resilient nature, when things go wrong or when you have a challenge, you might just get discouraged and you might just back down. But I think it's very, very important to know that if you keep on going, you would actually be able to create a lot more value for yourself in the future. Like if you keep on being resilient today, you would enjoy the process of that in the future. Yeah. So I think that's something I've learned. And yeah, that's one thing for me. Second thing that I want to speak to would be how important people actually are in what you're building. It takes a village. It doesn't take one man. So you need to understand that in everything you're doing, you need to be able to allocate tasks to other people. You need to be able to leverage other people's experiences and not just your own experience, because you're not the smartest or the best person to do anything. You need to
trust people.
Exactly. So that's the second thing I've learned. So being resilient and having the right people around you. Yeah.
So I think we've come to the end of this conversation. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your lessons, for sharing your stories with us. So our audience, thank you also for getting to this point of the conversation with us. To keep up with these very impactful conversations, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages. See you on our next episode. Bye.